Hey friends, it's Alex here. Welcome back to my video blog. Now, what we're gonna go over today is how do you maximize the sale price of your home when selling. It's probably very clear, and you've heard that it is very much a seller's market in today's setup. So what I'll tell you is that how do you maximize the sale price though? A couple things. Obviously, you wanna get the property ready, but beyond that, you need to make sure that every buyer knows about your home, and every agent with a buyer that is looking and pre-qualified in your price range needs to know about it. But as soon as we get one offer, we go ahead and blast and reach out to all the agents that have shown the home, that are potentially showing it, that there is competition for this home. And then on offer night, it's one of our favorite things to do, and it does take some time, but we actually have a grid that we do in Excel. And what's gonna happen is that we're gonna go over the price, we're gonna go over the terms, the timelines, what they're asking for, their qualification, what they have in the down payment, what they have in the bank. So we want all of those things so we really know and understand the buyer. Now, sometimes it's easy to think that what you want is the highest possible price. And that is true, but you actually want the highest possible price that is gonna go ahead and close. So one thing that you want to make sure that happens is that your agent has gone through and checked the math, reviewed the agreement, understands the flexibility of timelines, and also how much money they have in the bank, because in this market, there is a chance where the home may not appraise at the purchase price. So you need to understand their assets. And then beyond that, you're gonna get with the lender, we get with the lender rather, and find out what their eligibility is with respect to their qualification, what their debt to income ratio is, because realistically, you need to understand what their eligibility is on that. Because just saying that you can submit an offer for $1 million may not mean that they're actually eligible for that, because depending on the type of pre-approval. So we look for a desktop underwriting approval or the LP, DU or LP from the lender to make sure that they've been fully vetted and gone through underwriting at that time. So that's part of it. But then what we want to really understand is that the offers that we want the most are the ones that have the least contingencies. And a contingency is the ability for a buyer to cancel the transaction. Now, there is a loan contingency where they have to confirm the eligibility to buy a home. And until, in the recent past, it was actually 17 days. Now it's moved to 21 days. But the buyer has the ability to submit a shorter timeline. Typically, it's between 12 and 14 days in this market, or they may remove it completely because they've already gone through the underwriting process. The other thing is the appraisal to confirm the eligibility of the price. Many times the appraisal will need to be waived. And also when it comes to the condition, that is something that is in the buyer's inspection period that includes homeowner association documents, if it's in a homeowner association, and also the condition of the home physically. So that is different than the appraisal, but the shorter these timelines, and I call them windows to the transaction, you want to close these windows on the buyer as soon as possible. So you got to look at all the offers that you have available if you're in a multiple offer scenario and really break down and understand how competitive they are and see if you can reduce the timelines on the conditions so that you can go ahead and close those windows with the contingencies and ultimately open the door to your future. So when it comes to this, sometimes the highest offer is actually not the best offer, because their eligibility or other terms around it don't necessarily meet your goals. So we may need a rent back. We may need different things in that scenario. But in this market, we want to make sure that we get an offer that's a great price, but more importantly, that is going to not only start, but make it all the way to the finish line. So those are the things that you want to do to maximize the sales price and ensure the successful closing on a home in this market. So if you have any questions on that, there's definitely a lot of processes, but reach out to us. Happy to answer any questions that you have, and I will see you next time.